Good evening everyone, and welcome back to another GAVRA race. And of course, as always, it's Thursday with the Ferrari 33 SP, and I am Jukebox73, and it is my pleasure to broadcast this race tonight. It's going to be an extra long race. It is 120 minutes here at Fuji, and from what I understand and caught in the GAVRA Racing Ferrari Discord channel, they were going to have a little bit of weather tonight, so I believe we actually have about a 75% chance of rain tonight. And yeah, sorry for if you couldn't tell, there was a little bit of a delay. I've got a tornado about 5 miles down the road from me, so I just real quick had to make sure a few things were locked down before we started the stream, and hopefully we'll hang in there and get this race done. It'll blow right on through like it usually does with no issues. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get this track map out of the way because I know y'all want to see what some of the drivers are doing around this track so far. And currently we do have the camera on Chef, but like I said, we are here at Fuji. It is going to be spectacular in these cars. They do have a really high top end speed, and they really come flying out of the corners. It should be a great track for them. And it is, of course, 3.89 kilometers or 2.42 miles long. 16 turns. It's got a great mix of turns on this track. There's some really good kinks coming out of some really fast straights, and you have a couple really high speed turns as well. It's really hard to get around if you get a little too hard on the accelerator. And of course, 10-minute practice, 10-minute qualifying, and like I said, a 120-minute race or 2 hours. So we will definitely see a lot of pit stops and a lot of strategy come into play. And quick reminder of last week's, well, it wasn't last week was break week. The week before last week's podium was Faster in first, Alochamps had second, Red 15 in third, and you, the viewers, voted for Flip Flip for your driver of the day at Renault, and that was a fantastic race to watch as well. Let's see, who will we put the camera on? We will put the camera on Alochamps at the moment, and I will go ahead and get the driver's point slideshow up here so we can get through those, so I actually have enough time to make sure I cover the team points so we don't have to go back to the lobby with these guys. And in the lead is, well, that was completely by accident. It's Alochamps in first with 279 points, followed by Faster with 256, Flip Flip with 190, ESR Chef with 168, Agulator with 152, Hodgker with 145, Red 15 with 131. So we still have several drivers really right on top of each other with the points. And after this race, they have 3 more. So it really is. It's down to the last leg of this season, and the drivers are really gonna be pushing extra hard to guarantee themselves a good spot at the end of the championship. And we've got K-Morse with 97, Interceptor with 91. Snaker with 73, ID4 72. See, all the way down the field, all the drivers have a lot to gain or lose. Manic UK has 59, Mike HLB 47, and I believe we don't have Guri or Solo on here. Now I just accidentally loaded their graphics on up. It does happen from time to time. Alright, so let's see what our drivers are doing here tonight. Alright, so Red is in the pit, but he is currently setting the fastest lap during practice with a 129 flat. Alachamps is right behind him, also 129.36. Faster, 129.73. I'm really seeing a trend starting here. ID4, 129.74. Manic UK, 130.82. Yeah, there is definitely a trend going on with all of these drivers' times. K-Morse with a 131.24. Flip Flip, 131.78. Agulator with the 132.12. Mike HLB, 132.59. ESR Chef, he's saving it for the rain if it comes down. So he's got a 141.36 at the moment. Like I said, Chef has always really shined in the rain. So I think he's just waiting for it. And Snaker just has got a chance to get a time in. This is a long track. They had a very short practice and will have a short qualifying. So it is very difficult to get your tires warmed up and be able to get in a representative lap. So even Chef and Snaker down at the bottom in the 140s, we're going to end up seeing them right there. I know those two drivers very well. We're going to see them right here in the middle around 5th and 6th. They'll also be pulling, especially once the race gets going. They're going to have about a 131 just like everybody else. And just because I'm a very slow reader, let's go ahead and get our timing or our standings that Sig makes for us. He makes some great looking standings. And you can also find those in the standings and results room on the GAVRA Racing Discord channel. But still in the lead is Tuned Beetle, which is Flip Flip and Alachamps with 469 team points. Second is Cara Coolio, which is Agulator and Faster, 408 points. They can still do it, but they're going to have to push really hard to catch Tuned Beetle for the team standings. In third is the Disconnection Kings, which is Red 15 and ESR Chef. And Red 15's been having really good luck, but Chef has definitely earned the title of the Disconnection King. He really does suffer from that one a lot, unfortunately. And it's just bad netcode. It has nothing to do with anything on his end. And fourth is LGR Motorsports, which is Hodsker LGR and ID4 LGR. Those two been in GAVRA Racing for quite some time, so you'll see LGR Motorsport in a lot of other championships and seasons throughout the history of GAVRA Racing, along with Cara Coolio as well. In fifth is Speed of Light, which is Interceptor and Dr. Fiend. They have 215 points, so they're right there on top of LGR Motorsport. Sixth is Super Racing Elite, which is Snaker and K-Morse, 170 points. And bringing up the bottom in seventh is M&M Racing, which is, of course, Mike HLB and Manic UK with 106. And still, don't count those guys out. We've got 4 good races left to go. And I also have been watching these two drivers for quite some time and have had the pleasure of racing with them several times. So I know firsthand that they are extremely talented out on the track and very capable of putting down some extremely fast lap times. Oh, yep. And it looks like we do have a few drivers getting back out here on track. Let's get this so I can actually see it here. Oh, and that is not Jukebox's camera down there in the corner. Y'all have to ignore that. That camera is actually Agulator. Like I said, just me trying to batten down the hatches to make sure I don't get blown away right before I started the broadcast got me behind on one or two little things. And I was kind of hoping y'all wouldn't notice that I improperly labeled Agulator's cam box to Jukebox. But I'm going to fix that in just a second, actually. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and fix that now while we still wait on our drivers to get warmed up here. They still are out on their hot lap. They still have, yeah, right at 8 minutes left. This actually may be a timed, they've had just enough to get around the track. This could actually be a timed lap for ID4. We'll just have to wait and see. And y'all give me just a second, and I'm gonna fix my mess up. Yeah, and just to increase my mess up, y'all saw me starting to type several different names down there, and I'm fairly confident that this is actually faster speed and not agulators. I'm looking through the Discord right now. Yes. Okay, yes. So the driver cam that we have down there tonight is actually Faster's cam. And we've got Ranstoff in the chat, man. How you doing? It's good to see you in here. Yeah, you don't have to worry about Faster and Agulator. They have been killing it this season. They're going to do a great job out here. Though, it is the 2-hour endurance race for these drivers, so they did have a week's break beforehand to prepare for it, but it is twice the length that they're normally used to, so it's going to be really tough on them as well as me, so it's a good endurance for all of us, really. Alright, so we have Agulator. We're now down to 5 minutes of qualifying. Agulator is in first with a 129.26. Faster in second with a 129.30. Allochamps is got the third fastest lap in qualifying right now with a 126.4. Flip Flip. Sorry about that, y'all. You'll have to excuse me about that. Flip Flip is, whoa, we've had a change up there. Allochamps has put himself into fourth fastest qualifying with a 129.4. Actually, I think what really happened was Red put himself all the way in the lead. Let's do this again. I got a little slow. We've got Red in the lead at the moment with 128.6. Faster, 128.8. Agulator third, 129.08. Allochamps fourth, 129.4. Flip Flip fifth, 129.5. ID4 sixth, 129.8. ESR Chef, 130.05. 8th is Manic UK, 130.7. K Morse in 9th, 131.0. 10th is Mike HLB, 133.8. He's still warming up. And Snaker is in 11th with the 134.3. And trust me, y'all, Snaker also is still warming up. He is absolutely brutal out on track. And of course, like I said, all of the drivers know that there is about a 75% chance of rain, so they are definitely feeling the track out and trying to make preparations for that. How you doing, Tony? Yeah, it should be some really good racing in here tonight. Okay, it's Tunturi. Yes, so then it's extra good to have you in the chat, man. Okay, Ransdorf is Javier. Alright. Yeah, and if y'all didn't know, Javier is our alien in the Megane. Don't leave this stream to go check it out. Finish this video or stream, however you're watching it, or whenever you're watching it. Wait for this one to be done, and then go back to this Monday's and last Monday's Megane V6 trophy car. And Javier is just absolutely killing it. We still do believe he's right before the race. He's putting a F1 motor in there, and he's managing to get it back out of the car before we get a chance to get down there and check his car. 2 minutes left in qualifying. Red still holding on to the fastest lap at the moment. Oh, looks like ID got on the power a little early coming through that turn. Like I said, all the power these cars have, there's some of the turns on this thing that are going to be very, very tricky. And as soon as when the race starts, I'll actually get the map and speedo up for everybody. Just like I said, it is an endurance race, so we'll definitely be keeping track of where everybody is. Once we get about halfway through the race, I think we'll be seeing a few, at least 1 or 2 lapped cars maybe. I think not though, as long as nobody makes any major mistakes. And this is the elite tier, or the E1 here at GAVRA Racing, so this is the best of our best. Well, except for example, we have Javier in the Megane. Oh, and I just commentator cursed Schiff. So we'll move down here to Kmers. 1 minute now left in qualifying. Yeah, it should definitely be a really good race. I believe, if I remember correctly, which most of the times I don't, the usual 1 hour race, we see some drivers with a 1 pit stop, and we see some drivers with a 2 pit stop. So it really bounces around a lot. So I really have no idea what we can expect. There we go, Faster was into his settings there. I thought I'd give him a little bit of privacy so he can mess around, just in case any of the other drivers are watching. We don't want to let him in on his strategy. So we'll pop his screen off of there for a minute. Like I said, give him a little bit of privacy. But yeah, I had no idea what to expect out of the 2 hour race as far as pit strategy goes. I think we're definitely going to see a large variation between everyone. So I'm thinking we could potentially see as many as 4 pit stops out of some of the drivers, though I really think most of them are going to try to stick with about 2 to 3. Though I really think 3 is going to be almost necessary. I've seen some of the drivers talking about how bad their tires and things were with just 1 pit stop. So with it being as long as it is, you really don't want to get into the last 15 to 30 minutes of the race and not plan on another pit stop, but your tires are shot, and you, of course, have no choice but to pit. And of course, that can cost you greatly in the race. Looks like Faster is going to come back out on the track again for a minute. So it's, yep, qualifying is pretty much over. Yep, everyone's coming on back into the pit. And we'll get us a look at what our starting grid is going to look like. Oh! I did not expect that. Faster is going to start in first. I thought for sure Red had the first place position. Yep, Red will be second. Alachamp's in third, and that will make up our top 3 for the start of the race. 4th is Agulator. 5th is Flip Flip. 6th is Manic UK. 7th ID4. 8th is ESR Chef. 9th is K-Morse. 10th is Manic HLB. And 11th is Snaker. I have a feeling, though, everyone, Snaker is going to be the wild card in this race. How you doing, Pete? I agree. This is going to be a really tough race. I hated to see that y'all's race yesterday in the Janetta Evolution got put off due to the PlayStation Network errors everybody was having. Oh, and as I said, y'all, we did have about a 25% chance of rain, and apparently it has decided to start the rain right off the bat. So with this being a very long race, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The drivers have a very good possibility of, once the track finally does dry out later in the race, they stand a very good chance of the rain coming back in at the end. So it's definitely going to be a big mix-up for weather, and the drivers are going to have to pay real close attention to the track conditions for this. Should be very interesting to see how they handle it. Of course, they still do have about another minute to get themselves ready. I don't blame them. I believe I would definitely be doing some quick pit stop adjustments and everything. Oh yeah, Javier, it's gonna be the drivers here always tend to stack right on up with their times, especially the top half of the grid are usually literally right there on top of each other. Alright, and if y'all can't tell, I'm in desperate need of a quick swallow of water while we still have about 30 seconds. And so that way I can actually keep up with the start of the race. Well, I must say, I think I timed that pretty dang good, because as soon as I got me a swallow of water, we got the sinking in. And they are off. Faster's managing to hold on to the lead. Red's right behind him, followed by Aloe Champs. Faster's made the move into second. Oh, now Agulator's up in second. Faster's down to third. Manic is in fourth. ESR Chef has made his way up into third now. Manic's moved up into third. We're seeing some really big changes in positions here. And if you can't tell, I'm having a really hard time keeping up with all of them. They are changing around so fast. So once again, Red in first, ESR Chef now in second, Manic in third, Mike is in fourth, Faster's fifth, Agulator is sixth, ID4 is right behind him in seventh, Flip eighth, Snaker made his way up into ninth, K-Moore's 10th, and whoa, something must have happened to Alochamps. He has fallen all the way back down to the back of the pack. Though I did get just enough glimpse of the screen to see that we did have a couple of drivers going a little wide into turn one, which I believe on this track with these conditions that was definitely to be expected. It's really hard to tell just how much water the track is already has on it until you at least get one lap in. Red's managed to get himself out with just over a 1 second lead. ESR Chef's now closing right back in behind him. Chef is the one to watch out for in the rain, as he proved last season in the BMW Stance Works. He absolutely killed it in the rain. Manic is doing a great job, managed to work his way up into third. He has Faster right behind him though. Oh, and we have got a lot of action going on right here in the midfield with, I believe that is Mike, Agulator, ID4, and Flip right on top of each other. Oh, and they have now caught up to Faster. So we literally have third through 10th right there on top of each other again. Chef still is checking on Chef. Chef's only 8/10 now off of Red. It looks like there's more distance there than there actually is. They are running really fast. And as soon as the action calms down just a little bit, I'll do as I promised, and we'll get the track map and speedo up there for everybody. Alright, yep. Faster still right on top of Manic UK, almost side by side going into the turn. Like Faster had to back out of it just a little bit. Manic was doing a great job of keeping him squeezed to the inside. Let's check in on the other drivers. Agulator, ID4, Flip Flip, Allochamps, all still right there on top of Manic. Or I'm sorry, that's not Manic, it is Mike that they are right behind. So Mike is definitely the one in the hot seat at the moment. He has 4 cars right behind him looking to take his position. Oh, as they are steady catching up to Faster. It looked like Agulator was almost close enough there going through the last turn to get by Mike, but not quite able to do it. He has ID4 right there in his slipstream. Oh, they're going to go into turn 1, 3 wide. Oh, no, we did have contact. Oh, it was really hard to tell. I couldn't tell if he just didn't know if he was there. Maybe he thought he was clear. Or this track is really puddling up. There's a great possibility he caught a really big puddle right there, and it just aquaplaned him right into him. That was really good driving. Very unfortunate to see. It just shows how tough this track is and how hard the drivers are fighting in the last leg of the Ferrari 3.3 SP season. So we'll go right here with Manic UK and Faster for a moment. They're now side by side going through the turns. Again, Faster needing to ease out just a little bit. Once again, Manic doing a great job of keeping Faster squeezed to the outside there. Really far to the inside. Yeah, he really has him squeezed too far to be able to take advantage of it and get a good run. Some fantastic moves out of Manic at the moment. Faster's really probing, trying to feel him out for a weakness, but he really does have his work cut out for him. Like I said, Manic is really good. Oh, no, there Manic went a little bit too deep, allowed Faster to get up next to him. It looks like Manic still ended up with a much better exit speed, though. I still believe they're going to be... Oh, for a minute there, I thought Faster was going to be able to catch up to him and maybe go for the move in turn 1, but not quite able to do it. He's going to poke himself out around from the side, intimidate Manic just a little bit. He isn't really in the position. He knows it, Manic knows it, but it's still very intimidating to the drivers when you poke yourself out like that. Make yourself seen in their side mirrors. ID4 still right behind them, just really waiting for them to make a mistake. Agulator has managed to get his car back around to the pit. As we saw, he did take a lot of damage. And I'm trying to remember who it was he was tied up with there. They also took a good bit of damage. I believe it was Mike HLB. Could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he looks like Mike may have a glitch there, and his car may actually be stuck. Very unfortunate. I believe it was one of the drivers had just got their wheel back from Fanatec, and I cannot remember if it was him or it was either him or his teammate. It was one of the M&M drivers. Midfield has caught back up with Manic UK, so now he has Faster and ID4 right behind him. Red has managed to go off and get himself. Let's go up there and pay him just a little bit of attention. I don't see any of these drivers going for a crazy lunge in turn 1 at this point. We're 10 minutes into the race. Still have 1 hour 50 minutes left. Oh, just as I say that, the drivers have actually caught up with each other going into turn 1, and we had them all right there with each other, and I totally missed that action. Allochamps is now catching up and going to get himself involved in this fight. Alright, so once again, I believe they've got just enough space for us to check in on our leader, Red 15, who has managed to get himself a 3-second lead over ESR Chef. And like I said earlier, we all know ESR Chef is our king in the ring. he does kill it. So Red is doing a magnificent job of managing to get out there in front of Chef and pull off the lead so far that he has. So he's going to have to stay really concentrated to keep up his pace. As we can see, the pace, the most drivers' race pace is 139 up to about 142. Definitely a lot slower than what we saw in dry conditions. And I'll let you know just how much water there is on the track, along with all the spray we can see coming off of the cars. And just because I do like putting my foot in my mouth at times, I believe we're going to see this rain go for at least the first 30 minutes of the race. We could possibly see it go to 45 minutes or an hour. It is not synced to the race, it is timed, so no one knows exactly when it is going to change. Gavranovic and the other administrators worked out a fantastic weather system that we use in GAVRA Racing a long time ago, and it really does work great. No, like I said, no one knows exactly when the weather is gonna change. Though, looking up at the sky, it almost looks like the clouds may be trying to blow out already. Like I said, me and my foot and mouth predictions, and just an example of how great the weather system they worked out is. Drivers are informed of most of the weather slots a week before the race, and then the random weather slot is not announced until right before the race. So there's a huge variation of randomness to the weather, so that the drivers really, just like real racing, we really have no idea quite what's being thrown at us until we get there. And behind these drivers, we still have Alachamps. Alachamps has managed to get by Manic there and get a little bit of a lead, but right behind Manic is Flip is trying to catch up to him. He's slowly closing that gap. Of course, Flip at both of these drivers, well, excuse me, all of these drivers here know that this race is not about, you need to get yourself set up good in the first quarter of the race, but the race is won in the last 30 minutes, or really the last few minutes of the race, not the first few minutes, especially being a 2-hour race. And since it is a 2-hour race, I am going to take me several talking breaks, and what we'll do is, while I take a quick break here every now and then and grab a swallow of water so I can also go the distance here, we'll jump on board with one of the drivers and take a few laps with them. So of course that will give you all the opportunity to not be tortured by me and actually get to listen to these cars. Alright, so I think it is a good time. We're almost 13 minutes into the race. I believe it is a good time to go ahead and get us a rundown. The weather has separated the grid a little bit here, but like I said earlier, we're going to have a lot of pit stops, especially with this weather. So we're going to have a lot of strategy come into this. So we're going to see a lot of position changes throughout the whole race. All right, so we have Red in first at the moment. His last lap was a 1:39. ESR Chef is in second with a 1:38. Faster is third. His last lap was a 1:39. ID4 is in fourth. His last lap, a 1:39. Again, we're still seeing the same trends. Just because the laps are slower don't mean that we're not seeing the drivers really running right there on top of each other. Everyone's time is literally stacked. The whole grid is only, everyone's lap times is only varying by about 2 to 3 seconds for the most part. Alachamps is in fifth. Oh, Alachamps now catching up with ID4. Looks like I got the camera on him just at the right time. His last lap was a 1:38.6, so he definitely shaved a little off of his lap time there in order to catch up to ID4. So so he's not quite close enough to really set himself up to make a move just yet. But he is close enough to really have the pressure on ID4. So as long as he keeps this pressure up, it will eventually get to ID4. It gets to all the drivers if you sit behind them long enough, no matter how good they are. Everyone cracks eventually. And yeah, I want to finish going through the grid, but no, there we go right there. Aloe Champs managed to get a really good run on the exit there. Though, wait a minute. He really just, that was too big of a lead on ID4 there. Okay, that's what's going on. That's what I was thinking. The way he pulled out and around ID4 there for a second just didn't seem quite right. I was actually worried that something might have been wrong with ID4's car. Looks like he's taking a little fuel, no tires. Alright, so we are seeing some pit strategy coming into play here, so we're going to get back off of him and leave him to his pit strategy. And instead of y'all looking at this just black box down here, there we go. We'll go ahead and we will get Faster's cockpit camera back up there. And what I'll do is, like I said, I was a little rushed with a few things right before starting the stream, and I didn't intend to have another driver's camera to be able to swap this out and have the instant replay cam up for these races, but I was not quite able to do that, so you know, that'll just give y'all a better reason to tune in next week. We'll actually have more drivers' cameras up, and I'll have the instant replay camera going as well, and y'all will be able to pick out replays as you want them, and I'll be able to pull them back up. Aloe Champs has managed to get himself a little bit of space there, so let's see if we can conjure up another battle, a little battle here again. Last time we did it, we ended up with a battle, so let's try one more time. Red is in the lead. Last lap a 138. ESR Chef still in second. Last lap 138 as well. He's holding tight on that 3-second gap to Red. And this is a long track. 3 seconds can come and go very quickly. If Red makes a slight mistake, he's going to have Chef all over him. Faster is third. His last lap a 138.9. Aloe Champs fourth. His last lap, excuse me, 139.09. Manic UK is fifth. His last lap a 141.14. And I believe we're not showing this as a battle. No, I did not think it was, so we do already have a A-lap car there. Flip Flip is third. Flip Flip is sixth. See what happens when I start getting confused on who's where. Flip Flip is in sixth. His last lap was a 140.38. Snaker is seventh. His last lap a 142.74. K Morse holding on to eighth position. His last lap 138.49. Again, you see all the drivers' times are right there on top of each other. None of the drivers are particularly, except for Red up at the top, are particularly blowing each other out of the water or anything here. Everyone's time is very much on par with all the other drivers. ID4, he was in the pit, and also coming back out, so his last lap, of course, is going to be a lot slower here with the 149. And of course that is because this is his first outlap from the pit. Agulator is 10th. His last lap a 140. And I do believe, okay, yeah, that is a lapped car for him there. like he's really trying to take advantage of the drier line that the car in front of him is leaving behind. He can take advantage of their slipstream. If he can get his tires lined up, he can follow their dry line right behind them, and the car in front of him will literally just pull him right around the track. And if I'm not mistaken there, we now have rain on half of this track. And because I'm pretty sure that was a non-rain and much drier section there. So you can see how big the weather really changes the track conditions. And y'all bear with me just a second. I'm going to not torture you with my voice, and I'm going to get the speedo and map up here. There's us a map, and there's us a little speedo, and as always, we're not going to talk about their fuel levels, because some of the drivers do watch, so we're not going to talk about the fuel levels until we get right there at the end of the race, and I know everyone has made their final pit stops. But yeah, no, most of the cars are out still on the same lap. We only have 2 that are not. Oh, and let's move up here to Allochamps. Allochamps is now closed in on faster. So this one is a battle for position. We still have 1 hour and 40 minutes of this race left. Champ's trying to catch up to faster there. He is close enough to take advantage of his slipstream, and as we can tell by the marker up on the timings, he is within the 1 second gap of faster. So yeah, definitely looking right now, yeah, they're barely getting any spray on different parts of this track. And then of course on part of it, they still have a little bit of rain coming down. Definitely making for some very interesting weather conditions for the drivers to adjust to as they go around on just a single lap. And of course, in the bottom right-hand corner, we have Faster's cockpit camera of him trying to outrun Faster Allochamps at the moment. Hard to tell just how hard the drivers are pushing at the moment. Like I said earlier, most of these drivers are very, very experienced, since this is the E1 or Elite 1 league here at GAVRA Racing. All the drivers are very experienced, so they're definitely going to be trying to pace themselves. Looked like Faster made just a little bit of a mistake there, but Allochamps was not quite able to capitalize on it. Still right behind him though, making himself shown. Little intimidation there. Is it enough? Oh, it was. That was just enough intimidation to make Faster back out a little bit, and I don't think Allochamps expected him to back out of it the way he did. So I must say, I believe that was some really good defensive moves from Faster there. Yeah, it definitely looked like Allochamps did not expect Faster to back out as much as he did and put himself side by side going through that corner with him. And it really let Faster keep Allochamps squeezed to the inside there, as we saw. And because he kept him squeezed to the inside, Allochamps was just not able to take advantage of where he had got his car positioned on track get the exit that he actually wanted, and it put Faster right back in front of him. And it's those little moves like that right there are really why I wish I had managed to get the instant replay cam hooked up for this race. I knew it was going to be a good one, and I am definitely kicking myself in the butt for not getting it set up right now. So these two are going down the front straight again. We can see Alichamps is really taking advantage of that slipstream and managing to catch some ground on Faster. And we'll have another look at turn 1 here. Let's see how it plays out this time. Oh, once again, Alichamps gonna stick himself out, be intimidating. Alright, this time Faster did not hit the brakes quite as hard as he did last time. But Alichamps really wasn't quite able to capitalize on it. These two drivers right here are really feeling each other out and probing each other for some type of weakness. Oh, like Faster got a little off track there. Hopefully it didn't give him a slowdown or anything. I do believe he still had 2 tires on the curb. In my opinion, that is not too wide. As long as you can keep 2 tires on the curb or on the track, you're good. And of course, some of these turns, though, you can really push it on out there a little bit farther. And the game is quite forgiving on some of them, but not all of them. And of course, with these wet conditions, the curbs may or may not be your friend at this point. As we can see, we've seen all the drivers avoiding most of the inside apexes. Alright, so while these two are going at it, hold on, let's see if... Flip's close. We could... I really want to go back down there and go up here and check on Alichamps and... Wait a minute. I'm on Alichamps and Faster. I really want to go down here and check on Flip and Manic. So yeah, I've been getting drivers' names very, very wrong here. Still not quite able to get it done down turn 1. Though, like I said earlier, it's only going to be a matter of time if Alichamps just keeps repeating that move over and over and over again. Faster will eventually make the mistake, and Alichamps will have the easy pass. While these two have themselves a little spread out here, we've got to check in on Flip and Manic UK. Flip has himself in a nice position right there behind Manic at the moment. On camera, it looks like that is actually a really big gap, but trust me, it is not. They are under 1 second gap. See right there just how fast Flip closed in on Manic. That gap really disappears very quickly when you're traveling at 150 miles per hour. And I do have to say, I'm very impressed there. Flip's speedometer got up to, I believe, about 155 to 160 miles an hour while the track is still wet. And they don't have near the puddles that they did, but you know, now's the point where we're having very little spray off the tires. Most of the rain is gone, so they're really going to start heating their tires up. And while the rain tires are still going to be the preferred tire, if you're not careful, it's going to be really easy to burn them up and get them too hot. As we see go, as soon as they hit the straight there, not really any spray, just a little raindrop here and there. Not much going on as far as rain at the moment on this part of the track. Yeah, absolutely zero spray now as we're coming into turn 1. So the drivers right now are really pushing their tire limits. They're gonna, like I said, they're going to be overheating as they're really taking these high-speed turns. Looked like both drivers were able to find themselves a little puddle there to cool their tires back off before they hit this high-speed turn. And on this track, that high-speed left-hand turn that they just went through is, I find it, for me anyway, to be one of the more key corners to get right right, it can either net you a lot of time or cost you a lot of time. Flip Flip's gonna try. Nope, not quite able to get to the inside there. Manic was able to carry a lot of speed around the outside of that turn and get himself right back in front of Flip Flip. Oh, Manic's made a mistake and gone too deep into the kink. And that did definitely allow Flip Flip to go right on by him. Manic is going to stay right there behind him, though. He's going to try to take this position back pretty soon. Let's wait for these two to get on the front straight, and as soon as they do, we will go check in on Alochamps and Faster. Yeah, they have themselves a little bit of a gap there. So let's check in on these two. Faster, okay, Faster's going on through the pits. Alright, so we'll leave him alone to his pit strategies. Though I believe it is getting close to about the time where all the drivers are definitely going to be coming in. Even if it's not for fuel at the moment, they will definitely start coming in for a set of dry tires here soon. Always a risky move on when you do or don't take tires is that stay out too long, you burn them up, cost you a lot of time. You take them too early, there may still be just enough water on the track, like right through there was just a little bit of spray. You hit that with those slick dry tires, there is always that risk that it could spin you right on around. So we'll do another rundown real quick. Red still in first. Managed to get himself a 13-second lead on Chef. Chef is also deciding to go on through the pits. Yep, we're going to leave them alone with their pit strategies for now. Let them have a little privacy on that, not share all of it with the other drivers. Which did promote Alochamps into second. Manic is currently in fifth. Oh, fourth now. ESR. This is a really long pit lane. This is going to cost Chef several positions, but once these other drivers start going into pit, we're going to see the same thing, but in the opposite way. We'll see ESR Chef's name go right back up the board. Like I said, as everyone hits, he's hitting a little earlier than some of the other drivers. It's, like I said, it's quite possible he's already burning his wet tires up. So Snaker is in sixth. Snaker's now right there on top of ESR Chef. Let's check that out real quick. Yeah, Chef's managed to get back out of the pit. Snaker's right there behind him. Faster's now gone into the pit. As Faster managed to do a very nice pass around Snaker there. Looked like he just carried a lot more speed around the outside of that turn. Of course, here at Fuji, there are several different lines around some of these turns. Oh, Snaker a little early on the gas there. Hopefully the race director will be kind to him. It did definitely, he cost himself time there. He definitely didn't gain any, so yeah, hopefully he did not get a slowdown for that. It would be pretty messed up if he did. So let's finish going down the field. I believe we were covering Faster, and Snaker on 7th. ID4 is in 8th. K Morse in the pit in 9th. Agulator 10th. So yeah, we're seeing all the drivers come on through the pit. And it doesn't particularly look like anyone is too close to each other. I was fixing to say Snaker was getting on back around the track and could manage to pass Flip Flip while Flip Flip was in the pit. Snaker also deciding it's a good idea to go on into the pit. So we are, if they're on how many strategies you are on for this race. It is actually a really good time to pit. We are a quarter way through the race. Yes, Javier, Faster went through the pit. Just about everyone is either in the pit at the moment or is already pitted. The track is kind of in that really odd state. It's been in that odd state for the last several laps where it's been partially wet, partially dry. So they've been burning up their tires going around some parts of the track. And then they get around to another part of it, and there's still a lot of puddles on the track. It helps them cool their tires off, but they're still just starting to really chew through the wet tires. So they've all been having to make that very, very tough decision of when do they swap over. Oh, I'm not sure what happened there. Okay, I see it. That was actually a lapped car, so Aguilator was getting out of the way and letting the lapped car by. Thinking that may have been Allochamps, actually. Yep, it looks like his position on the map, that was Allochamps who went by. Now, I do not believe Allochamps has been through the pit. I believe Allochamps and Manic have not been through the pit just yet. I believe most of all the other drivers have. Got Red and Faster right here on top of each other, and they're also right there behind Chef. So we've got Red and Faster putting Chef in the hot seat. Sorry for getting quiet. I'm sitting here, I keep getting caught up in watching the race just like y'all do. Of course, though, I'm also keep leaning back so I can look outside to make sure that the weather is staying in check here. Oh, Faster is right there on top of Red. Not quite able to get the move done. It looks like, I believe, Chef managed to get the move done on Faster, though, coming through turn 1 while all that was happening. So that was a very good move from Chef right there. That was a great pass. Yeah, I looked up. All three of them were literally right there on top of each other. So that one was definitely a battle of nerves coming into turn 1 there. And especially, we still have an hour and a half of the race to go. So yeah, definitely a battle of nerves. Everyone had so much to lose right there coming through that turn. The Red now sitting in second. ESR Chef is right behind him in third. And Faster is right there behind all of them in fourth. Yeah, Faster is just waiting for one of them to make just a slight mistake, and he's going to take their position from them before they even know what happens. Sorry for getting quiet on everybody there real quick. Just checking through the Discord. Thought I saw something go off out of the corner of my eye. Yeah, these two right now really battling it out. quite able to get it shifted, make the mistake there, but Faster not quite able to capitalize on it. And again, I'm still wrong on my camera. I said it was originally jukebox, then we know it wasn't that. Then I said it was agulators, and then corrected myself that it was faster. And I've steady been wondering about that, and I'm now looking through the chat. So yeah, still, I have this camera in the bottom right-hand corner labeled wrong. It's not faster. It's Agulator's camera, because I was looking at the battle and just thinking, well, I know the driver's feed is a few seconds behind the main feed, but something still didn't seem right. So yeah, I'm gonna change that again in just a second. Kind of one of the things when happens at times, you're dealing with some other things, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, you have a bad storm come up on top of you, and you need to lock a few things down. Thankfully, though, it does look like it's trying to move out, and shouldn't be any more of a danger of crashing the stream. Alright, so since the drivers have got themselves spread back out just a little bit here, let me actually get the right name up here on this driver's box. There we go. Much better. Makes me feel a little bit better there. Sorry about that, Agulator. Now we have your camera labeled properly. I'm not sure, Javier. I'm not sure what kind of tires Agulator has on. If he still has the wets on, then they have got to be really cooking at the moment. And I believe I actually have that information kind of chopped off a little bit at the bottom of his screen, so we can't quite see exactly what tires and everything he is running. He was through the pit earlier. He may have changed over earlier, I believe. So I think he has already pitted. A lot of the drivers have been, just for the 1 hour race, have been doing, some drivers do a 1 pit stop. Some of the drivers have really been eating their tires up and doing a 2 pit stop. So I think it's safe to say we'll probably see at least 3 pit stops. Especially given that with the weather, that the rain may come back at the end of the race. And there's a good possibility of seeing as many as 4 pit stops out of some of the drivers. While the cars hold a massive fuel load. I believe it's somewhere around 80 or 90 liters of fuel. They burn through it really quick. Oh no, yeah. Alachamps is definitely already pitted one time. I believe he was one of the first ones to come on through the pit. Oh, I'm not too sure who was spun around. Oh no, that was Agulator. Then we're gonna blame that on commentator's curse, because I think I was on his car and we have his driver's feed up. And since I did notice that, see, I got a little confused because Faster posted both of them in the chat. So we do have Faster's camera. Y'all give me just a second and I'll pop that up there. Now that I actually got the name right on there and it's actually titled and giving Agulator credit for having his camera on there, I'm now going to change it to Faster. But mostly because I really feel like I'm commentator cursing the hell out of Agulator at the moment. There we go, that's Faster's feed. Go ahead and make sure I change that name on over real quick. There we go. Where is Faster out on track right now? Oh, Faster is currently sitting in second. And he has managed to position himself 1.3 seconds behind Red. Now, Red could be the only one that has not came in for a pit stop. I'm not positive. But I believe there's a good possibility that he has not came in for a pit stop. But I kind of feel like he did. I'm really not sure, to be honest. Alright, we're 45 minutes into this race. Let's see who is getting close to each other. Flip and Alichamps are still relatively close. Faster and Red are just over the 1 second mark. Everyone else is a little spread out, and there it is right there. Faster now caught up with Red. So we now have ourselves a nice little battle for first place position. Faster just needs to catch up just a little bit. He already has the pressure on Red. He just needs to get himself up there a little bit closer so he can actually go for a move. I mean, he definitely has Red on the defense. Red is definitely going to be looking in his mirrors, but Red also knows that he has a little bit of a gap there. He's got a couple of car lengths. It isn't until your crew chief starts telling you that you have them within about 1 or 2 lengths that you really have to start paying major attention to him. Faster is still, though, he's close enough to take advantage of the slipstream. And it does look like they're coming up on a back marker. Oh no! Oh, Faster looked like he may have got a little hard on the accelerator or brake right there at the turn in. And it definitely cost him about 2 seconds right there. But I believe he is going to be catching right back up to Red. It should not take him very long. Yeah, we already see that gap going right back down. So Red real quick gathered himself up. Or I'm sorry, Faster gathered himself right back up and is going to try to catch right back up to him to go for a move again. Jeff's still in third. Flip not too far behind him, sitting in fourth. Alichamps has slowly made his way right back up the field in position 5. Manic UK in 6th. ID4 is 7th. Oh! As soon as I put the camera on him, he spun it around. There's a good chance that definitely qualifies as commentator curse. 8th is Snaker. See, I told y'all to watch out for Snaker. He was going to make his way right on up the field. K-Morse is 9th. I believe it was the pit stop strategies that may have put K-Morse down here towards the back. A lot of what we see in the standings at the moment is a direct result of pit stop strategies. So we will see this happen a few more times throughout the race. So since everyone... Yes, the minimum gap I'm seeing right now is Flip Flip and Alachamps with about 3 seconds. Alright, so I'm going to grab a quick swallow of water. I'm going to get it where I can actually see this. Take a ride around with Red, since he is the leader at the moment. Like I said, it's a long race, so we're gonna climb in here with Red, make him slide over just a little bit, make some room for all of us. We're gonna take a lap around the track with Red to see just how he is tackling it, because I've now noticed he's managed to get his lead back up to 4 seconds in front of Faster. So yeah, we definitely have to see how Red is tackling this track here. So we're going to take a quick ride around with Red, and I'm going to keep my mouth shut so we can actually listen to these cars and the sound of the tires and all the rubber peeling off of them. It looks like Faster is slowly getting that gap back down to Red. Yep. Now has it down to 3.5 seconds. The sun has definitely came out, if you can't tell, and the weather has turned to just absolutely beautiful. We've got great blue skies. And at this point, I'm really hoping the rain does not move back in. We are getting close to the halfway mark of the race. 7 more minutes and we'll be at the halfway mark And believe me, everyone, I can tell y'all firsthand experience, driver fatigue at this moment is definitely starting to kick in on these drivers. As we've got us a little battle in the back between Alichamps and Flip here. Yep, Alichamps is getting close enough to be able to make a move on Flip. But yes, as the commentator, the fatigue is starting to set in on me. And so I know, that's why I say I know for a fact it is definitely sitting in on the drivers. All I'm having to do is sit here and talk about the race and watch it while they actually have to drive these cars. So it's definitely tougher on them to be doing this. Alichamps not quite able to get himself up there just yet. He's still within the 1 second mark. Snaker's going on in through the pit. I believe that's his second pit stop. Like I said, I really think a lot of the drivers are having, I'm not going to say a hard time with tires. It's just the power of these cars and the amount of downforce that they have. They really do chew through tires. So yeah, again, really big possibility to see up to 4 pit stops out of some of the drivers. Though I still stick with my initial foot in mouth prediction about 3, I believe is going to be the average. We've got a back marker getting out of the way, flashing his lights, telling the leaders to go on and get around him. Front and back markers here at GAVRA Racing always show a lot of respect for each other on the track. Yeah, at GAVRA Racing, you know, how we treat each other on track and making sure we treat each other with a lot of respect on and off the track is one of the things that we really pride ourselves about here at GAVRA Racing. Pretty much always guaranteed to have a good race, and if you don't, if something does happen, we have a team of stewards to look into it, and they always make a really good decision. And if you're found guilty, you get a license level penalty that could range from a shortened practice time or a shortened qualifying time, all the way up to you may have a practice and qualifying ban during one of the races. Though I have to say I have seen very, very few drivers in GAVRA Racing end up with a actual qualifying ban. About the most you ever see is a practice ban or a short qualifying. It looks like Alichamps has fallen back out of the 1 second mark, but he's right there. He's at 1.5 seconds, so he's still right there on top of Flip. But it gives me the opportunity to real quick give us another rundown of the track, which is red in first. Faster is holding on to second still. Boy, Faster gets that gap closed on up, and then just, I don't know if it's red putting that foot down or I don't know what happens. But as soon as Faster gets that gap closed down to close to about 2 to 3 seconds again, it just all of a sudden just increases right back up there to about 4 to 5 seconds. I really think Red is just putting one foot out the door and helping his car get on down the track. ESR Chef is in third. Did a great job. His pit strategy really helped promote him right on up there, and he did a great job of handling the rain. Chef fought his ass off to get into the third position that he's in at the moment. Flip is in fourth. He is barely fending off Alichamps in fifth. I said Alichamps has still been right there behind him. Camera guy was a little bit slow there. And we're going real quick. We're going to work our way down here to Agulator and K-Mars, because I see they're getting close enough to really start going at each other. Manic UK is 6th. ID4 is 7th. K-Morse is in 8th. Oh, nope, Agulator is in 8th. He's made the move around K-Morse. K-Morse still right there behind him, though. He's able to keep it in the slipstream. That'll really help him get pulled right down the track. Still just not quite able to get himself up in the position to make the move. I believe we're going to see K-Morse get himself up there, though, before long. You see right on up the field, yeah, that was Aloe Champs. Yep, Aloe Champs and Flip Flip getting right there close, right in the 1 second mark of each other again. Aloe Champs not quite able to close it all the way up, though. Still 1 minute 30 seconds left in the first hour of this 2-hour race. So again, yeah, driver fatigue definitely setting in. The realization of your pit stop strategies and the effects it's having on your race definitely starting to set in. At this point, they'll have a much better idea of what their pit stop strategy and things like that are actually, how they're going to affect the outcome of the race. Oh no! Oh, it looked like K-Morse got just on the throttle a little too fast there coming out of turn 1. Or maybe even possibly, there are still a few wet spots here and there on track. Either he got on the power up just a little too fast, trying to get a run on Agulator, or he possibly could have hit a little bit of a wet spot there. I really don't think the curbs have quite dried up. Yes, we can see right there, Aloe Champ's making sure he does not hit the curbs. Yeah, all the drivers are really going out of their way to stay away from the curbs. But then I'm going to guess that the curbs are possibly still a little damp, and they are definitely not your friends here at Fuji when they are wet. Champ's still not quite able to get up there, but he's still close enough to be able to be keeping the pressure on Flip Flip. So Flip Flip is definitely feeling the pressure, even though he doesn't have that warning going off, steady that Aloe Champs is right there within the 1 second mark. Aloe Champs is plenty close enough to be very intimidating Flip Flip on track at the moment. And we have finally breached our 1 hour, so we are now on the second half of the race. Red's still holding on to that lead, though that lead now came back down to 4 seconds. I believe it is, excuse me everyone, it's getting close to about that time where we're probably going to start seeing some more drivers come on into the, yep. Yeah, there it is. I was just fixing to say we should see some more drivers starting to come on in. Oh, for a minute I thought K-Morse was going with the hover tires. I think that could have been a really good move to go with those for this race. But yeah, as I was saying, it's about that time to start seeing some more drivers come in for some pit stops again. Sorry, I'm sitting here looking through the timings, trying to figure out who is closest to each other. And it is pretty much these two right here. Still, Flip Flip and Faster still our closest drivers at the moment. And I do believe they are teammates. So that could be one reason why we're seeing these two right here together. That would mean that they are most definitely, yes, I believe they most definitely are, yeah, teammates, which would mean they're probably on the same pit strategy, whereas the rest of the field is a little separated because they may be running a different pit strategy we're seeing these two right here together because they're most likely running the same pit strategy, and of course most likely spend a lot of time training together for this race. So it only stands to reason that their times will be very close to one another, and pit stop strategy also basically the same. So let's do another quick rundown here. Red still in first. Faster still holding on to second. Nope, that gap, see, like I said, that gap keeps moving around. It gets down to 3 seconds and then it goes back up to 5. Faster is definitely pushing really hard right there. We see he went a little deep into that turn. Did a great job of getting himself back around those, through the S's there. Those are very difficult to get right, easy to get wrong. Chef's still in third. It's hard to tell if the gap between Chef and Faster is moving much. I believe it's actually holding very steady at the moment. Flip in fourth. Still has Alochamps right behind him in fifth. Behind them we have Manic UK in sixth. ID4 is seventh. Not that far behind Manic UK, to be honest. Regulator is 8th. K-Morse's last pit stop really put him kind of back there at the pack, but he should have fresh tires and a decent amount of fuel, so he should be able to make up some good position here. And of course, Snaker brings up 10th. He was also, well, no, he's not. It's his pit strategy, I believe, is what has him off of, kind of out of the grid here at the moment. His pace tonight has actually been really, really good. Snaker is a fantastic driver. Spread out a little bit. Let's go to Alochamps. And we will take a ride around the track with Alochamps. Hopefully before this is over, I'm going to try to make my way through all of the drivers. And coming into the chat now is Duke Martin. How you doing, Duke? Says he's just getting up and drinking an entire pot of coffee. That man right there is a trooper. He works a night shift, comes in and drinks like 10 pots of coffee and then jumps on for the Ginetta race. Me and him both have talked about having the extreme coffee jitters while trying to race. So yeah, he is definitely a trooper. But yeah, everybody, y'all excuse me for 1 second. I'm gonna grab me another swallow of water, and we'll listen to this car of Alochamps, and we'll take a ride around him, track with him for a second, and it'll get me just a quick break as well. looks like Flip Flip has decided to it's time for another pit stop there. I have to say I did not quite expect that out of these two. Instead of them being teammates, I really thought they would be basically on the exact same pit strategy. But of course, as we all know, I'm great at making foot-in-mouth predictions. Yeah, the driver started out the race with light rain, and it actually started clearing out pretty early. After about 15 minutes of rain, it started clearing out, and now we've got some great looking skies. But of course, as y'all know, with the way the weather is set up, there is a really good chance of the rain coming back right at the end of the race. We're just going to have to hold out and wait and see what it does. But it definitely threw a big mix-up at all the drivers with it raining right at the start of the race. Yeah, and Javier's just saying the same thing in the chat. Yeah, I think we stand actually a very good chance of the rain coming back at the end of the race. Of course, we can see, you know, right there as Alochamps came around that turn, the track is dried off, but if you get just a little bit off the track, the entire side of the track and everything is still just flooded with water. Yeah, we can see all the reflections down through there. So they've got a nice dry track where they've been driving, but that's about it. I believe a lot of the curbs are still wet. As we can see, most of the drivers are still trying to avoid those best they can. We've got a few they've picked out at this point that they are able to hit. Yeah, as Alochamps is able to get on top of a couple of them there. And I thought I had climbed back out of his car, but apparently get back out of his car and let him actually get some good lap times in. Yep, ID4 going on through the pit. Yeah, so this is at least the second pit stop now for most of the drivers as we're seeing them come in. So, yeah, I definitely think we're going to see at least 3 out of most of the drivers. Like I said earlier, these things carry a lot of fuel, but they also burn through a lot of fuel. I think they hold close to about 90 to 120 liters or so. But with the monster V12 they have in them, they go through all that fuel really fast. Actually, let's take a peek and... of course, since, you know, a lot of the drivers do watch, I'm not going to talk about what kind of fuel levels or anything anybody's running, but I've got the speedo up so we can all see it on screen. And then if the drivers are just really, really brave, they can try to look hard enough to see what kind of fuel level the other drivers are carrying, but I think they're more concentrated on the track. So we can have a look at the fuel levels and we can go ahead and make kind of our own little predictions about when people are going to pit and stuff like that, but we'll really start talking about it once I'm sure everyone has actually made their last pit stop strategy and I don't ruin it for any of the drivers. But yeah, we can see Reds, we see how he's running, and we can make a prediction there. Let's check our second place. Ooh, we can check his, make us a little prediction there. Chef. And Alochamps in 4th. check out Flip Flip in 5th. And Manic UK in 6th. Agulator 7th. ID4 in 8th. Morse 9th. And Snicker in 10th. So, like I said, I'm not going to talk about the fuel levels, but we can say, well, we can say that that ESR Chef is now going through the pit. No, I think it's safe to say we can see many different pit strategies throughout all the drivers. Alright, and Javier's in the chat. He says fuel consumption is about 3 liters per lap. Yeah, so that will definitely also help us take a good guess at when we're going to see some of the drivers coming on in. So yeah, I definitely think we're going to see a minimum of 3 pit stops out of most drivers. And yeah, definitely the possibility of 4, given the weather and the fact that the rain comes in. If the rain moves back in, we could possibly see 4 pit stops out of everyone. We could see a complete shakeup of the field once the rain moves back, if it moves back in. Right now, we still have beautiful weather. We are down to 45 minutes of the race. If y'all can't tell, I'm feeling the fatigue. So you know the drivers are feeling the fatigue. All I have to do is sit here. So who is close? The few drivers we had that had closed in on each other real quick started getting separated again by the pit stop strategies. So I think we're kind of in a little bit of a lull here for battles until we see some pit stop strategies kick back in. So we're going to sit with this man right here. I'm going to sit with Faster for a minute and see what he does. Of course, I think we all kind of know what he's going to do. That's about what I thought. Let's see, just how close is he gonna make it? Alright, yeah, so we've got Faster. Faster came back into the pit with only 1.6 liters. That's really good fuel management and knowing exactly how much fuel you got in your car right there, I have to say. Let's see. Let's pick in on ESR Chef. He was in the pit a minute ago. Drivers can see when the other drivers go through the pit, so I don't mind saying that he's went through the pit a little while ago. I just don't want to talk about his fuel level just yet. It looks like oh nice, we do have us a little battle back here at the back of the grid between Agulator and ID4 now. Let's just check in. Oh no. Yeah, these two have not been long out of the pit, so they are very evenly matched at the moment. No, dude, Manic's been having a really good race this week. Is he gonna get? Not quite able to get up the inside there. And I believe some of my timings are a little bit off there. Because while it looks like these two should be... look like those two should be in battle, but that's actually... I'm not too sure who that is. Okay, so it's Manic. ID4. According to the standings, though, they have Allo Champs in between them, but not on the field. I'm sorry, not Allo Champs, but Agulator. Alright, looks like I'm having a little bit of a timing glitch there. Alright, so let's see if we can find someone else that isn't quite as confusing for me to try to keep up with. Apparently the fatigue is setting in on me a little extra hard, or a little harder than I thought. Oh, Javier, you saw that before I even did. As Javier just pointed out, the rain is now moving back in, and it is moving back in long before we anticipated it coming in. So, just to give y'all a quick rundown on what this means, or could potentially mean. It was raining at the first of the race. 15 minutes in, the rain was clearing out. 30 minutes in, we had a dry track. As early as it's starting to rain again now, there is a very good possibility for the rain to come in, rain on them for a few minutes, and then it may move right back out before the race is over. This is going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. But yeah, we went from beautiful sunny skies there to getting some rain really fast. So I have a feeling it's going to move in pretty quick. Snicker's already, he's going to go on back through the pit. He's not going to bother to stay out and chance it. He's going to go ahead and grab his wet tires. And yeah, we can see as we're getting on around to the back side of the track here that it is raining more already down here. Well, I have to say, this is definitely going to shake things up. Just under 40 minutes left to go as well. And of course, yeah, y'all go ahead and, you know, be looking through the drivers, decide who y'all want to vote for driver of the day, and we'll have that vote right before the end of the race, so I have just enough time to get their graphics loaded up and in place. But I have to say, at this point in the race, I have no idea of who I want to vote for. Everyone here has had a really good race. This has been a very tough one on them. Dry qualifying, dry practice, and then pouring down rain at the start. It moved out, now the rain's moving back in. And all the drivers know that the rain, as early as it's starting, has the potential to still move right back out. It could take its time and just still be barely raining at the end of the race, or it could come in, drop all the rain, and move right back out. Yes, I agree, Javier. I think everyone pretty much right now is on slicks, so they're going to be having to once again make that decision of when to come in and change tires. But I guess instead of burning up the wet tires as they were before, now they could potentially really spin themselves out, and I'm not sure which one could be more detrimental to your race. Just aquaplaning and spinning out, or just having to back off the throttle so that you don't burn up the wet tires when you barely have any water on the track. Definitely going to be a very tough decision. Yeah, and as Duke pointed out, I think some of the drivers had just came in and taken a fresh set of slicks right before the rain started moving in. It was only just a few laps ago we saw Chef and some of the other guys. I believe it was Alochamps not all that long ago came in for a fresh set of slicks. So we've seen several of the drivers. They've got to be within about 10 laps, I think, of fresh tires. So it's really going to make it tough on them. Though, of course, they had no idea when the rain was going to start, so they've made the best call they could at the moment. It's definitely one of those where the weather has a really big impact on the race. And yeah, as Javier's pointing out, Fuji has a really long pit lane. It costs you so much time to go down there, the pit lane on this track. It runs almost the entire length of the front straightaway. So I think all the drivers are kind of doing about like us right now. They're just trying to see who can hold out the longest in these conditions before they start coming in for a pit stop. Though I have to say though, Alochamps has now put himself in the lead, 17 seconds over Red. I believe Red had gone through the pit and actually taken a fresh set of tires. It's either that or he is still on a previous set, a really old set of slicks. And he's really having to take care of them at the moment. Though his lap time's 1:30, right there on top of what he was doing qualifying, so I want to say that I missed it and just missed Red 15 coming through the pit, and he's actually on a brand new set of slick tires. And I just got to do something that the drivers cannot do on these endurance races. I just got a chance to stand up out of my chair and get a quick stretch, which was very nice. And speaking of that, 30 minutes left in this 2-hour race. The fatigue on the drivers at this moment has got to be intense. All of them really trying to concentrate on the race and stay focused. And of course, y'all know with the rain moving back in, they really need to stay focused at this time. It is so easy to make just a tiny mistake and literally cost yourself the whole lap. As we can see, Chef and Flip Flip both coming on into the pit. They've decided, let's see here, are they taking fuel? Nope, didn't get a chance to see if they're taking fuel or not. Not sure if they took fuel or not. I definitely think they came on in. Yeah, we can see a little spray coming off of Flip Flip's tires right there. Definitely came on in and grabbed a set of wet tires. Which parts of the track look like they're already wet enough for it, but some parts I believe were still a little bit drier. So it still is quite a risky move, despite the rain we're seeing come down, to go ahead and take the wet tires. I'm not too sure who that was, but we saw one there spun out. I'm not too sure who that was. It was a yellow car. Yeah, again, really not too sure who it was, but Faster coming on through the pit. He's going to grab him some wet tires as well. All right, he will get back out on the track for third. And I believe this is Allochamps. Yes, it is. It is Allochamps and Red really going at it for first and second position there. We saw them have just a little bit of paint swapping there going through turn one as they were trying to keep each other really squeezed in. Red somehow carrying a lot of speed through these turns at the moment. Yeah, the track is definitely starting to build up water quite quickly. Allochamps is pushing really hard. He's trying to get caught back up to Red. Red has had an absolutely amazing pace this race, though. Still right there on top of each other. Just about has that gap closed back up. I believe we will see him going for a move before too much longer. He should have himself in a good position to do it. And just to help keep things interesting, every time I do this, it really shakes up the grid somehow. So I'm doing it again. I have just gone ahead and pre-made their podium. And like I said, every time I do that, we end up seeing a really good mix-up in the top of the grid here. So should make it interesting. Oh yeah, I agree, Duke. I mean, we've got the top three basically within about 10 seconds of each other at the moment, and this is after an hour and a half of racing. They really got split up during the race. If you came in the middle of the race and saw the gaps, you would never believe that they would actually catch back up. But because of the length of the race and the weather and everything else and the pit strategies, these drivers always catch right back up to each other at the end. We always have some great battles at the end of the race here. Rain is really starting to come down on them, though. Red has really got to be feeling the pressure from Allochamps. It's been a long race, 2 cycles of rain. This has been a very, very tough race on all of the drivers. Kind of want to take the camera away to do just a quick rundown of the field, but I know just as soon as I move, we're going to see some really great action out of these two. Allochamps now, he was right there, 0.5 seconds behind him. Red has increased that gap by, managed to get himself an extra half a second there somewhere. Really don't see how though. Alichamps has been right there in his slipstream coming down the front straight. Looking on back down towards the back of the field there. Alichamps is still trying to get right there on top of Red, not quite able to do it. We've got Flip trying to close the gap on ESR Chef, just barely 1.5 seconds out himself. I believe that when we get a little closer to the end, I think those are going to be our two main battles, is first and second. There is the possibility that Faster could catch up with first and second and get himself involved in that fight. But I believe the other main battle we're going to see is going to be right here with Flip and ESR Chef. But as close as Alichamps is, I've got to keep the camera on our two leaders here, first and second position. Just Red in first, Alichamps in second. We've got Agulator going through the pit now. Agulator may have been trying to stay out on a set of dry tires as long as he absolutely could, but if any of the drivers are still on slicks at the moment, they are really hating life. Could see the move here? Nope, not quite. I believe Alichamps was very smart right there and made the right decision in backing out just a little bit. These two have been going at it for quite some time. We've seen a lot of drivers keeping each other squeezed really tight there into turn one. Down to the last 24 minutes of this 120-minute race. So we've got almost 100 minutes out of the way. That ought to let you know just how big the fatigue is on the drivers. As I was talking about earlier, hopefully next week I'll get the instant replay cam installed for this broadcast as well, just like I did in the began. There's been several instances during this race that I wish I had already got it set up, but I haven't. Champ's really keeping the pressure on Red at the moment. Red pretty much has been leading the race the whole time, except for a few times where he was not. One time he wasn't in the lead was purely because of pit stop strategies. He'd pit, it put him to the back of the pack. Everyone else would pit, it would put him right back up in the lead. So yeah, Red definitely has to be feeling it at this point. He's had someone pretty much right behind him the entire race. Especially right here, the last 20 minutes of the race, you've got Alichamps right there behind you. It's like Red was gonna go a little bit defensive, cut back to the outside so he can get a good turn entry. And yeah, my accent really came through when I said that. That's why I'm not gonna say it again. Alichamp still trying to get himself in the position for the move. Not quite able to get up close enough. If he can manage to get up next to him and if he could just get his bumper in there, he'll have a really good chance of making a pass, though. It's very, very risky. Like I said, the last 20 minutes of a 120-minute race. Now is definitely not the time to blow it. So all the drivers very fatigued, wanting to push extra hard, doing a great job of showing self-control and not pushing too hard. We can see just how easy on the accelerator Alichamps is being. So yeah, very, very difficult not to spin these cars going around these turns. They really do just they've got way too much power. Well, no car has too much power. But y'all know what I mean. Alright, down the front straight again. Let's see how they set each other up this time. If y'all can't tell, they've really just been checking each other out and trying to see who's weak where, what move they may have they could go for. Yep, Red, very smart, did basically about the same thing there. Alichamp still right there behind him, only 6/10. So that means basically if Red makes just the slightest mistake, he just goes a little wide into one turn, Alichamps is most likely gonna take the position from him. But yeah, Red has all the pressure on him, though of course Alichamps does have the pressure of trying to keep up with Red. Oh, and the track is just getting so saturated. Thankfully, Fiji does do a pretty good job of draining a lot of the water off of it, though on some of the off-camber turns on the inside, the water is going to puddle and potentially cause a lot of issues. And right there, we saw Alichamps really trying to set himself up for a good run on that exit, be able to get a run on Red, but not quite able to do it. These two down the front straight again. Again, Red going a little bit defensive, going over to the inside. Of course, you get a little bit of aerodynamic cover if you're a little closer to that wall as well. Braking, moving on over. Yeah, Alichamps just can't quite get himself up there to be able to make the pass. He is definitely has to be starting to get a little frustrated at this point. Red is doing a great job of keeping him at bay. The Alichamps will get a good run on him every now and then. Right up here as soon as they go into the last turn. Just a second. Alichamps will end up closing right there up behind Red. Yeah, so he managed to close the gap up, but then as soon as they get going down the straight, Red just kind of pulls off from him a little bit. But they do have Faster not that far behind him. He's only 7 seconds off. This is a long track. These two are basically caught up in battling each other. There is a really good possibility still for Faster to catch up with these two and get himself involved for this battle for first, second, and third. Which, yeah, Faster already has closed the gap by 1.5 seconds. Even more. Now he's right there on... Oh, he's... Let me see here. I believe Faster actually has... Nope, I was not on Faster. Who was I on? Not too sure who I had my camera on. So yeah, fatigue definitely setting in for everybody. Yeah, Faster now still has that gap down to 5.5 seconds, 5.2, 5, 4.8. Faster is closing this gap very quickly to Alachamps and Red. Alachamps is just steady pouring the pressure on Red right now. I mean, I do not see how he doesn't have Red on the ropes. Red is doing a fantastic job of maintaining his cool and keeping Alachamps fended off at the moment. And I believe could very well be quite successful all the way to the end of the race doing this. Well, I don't know, Alachamps got up in his slipstream just a little bit, just pulled out to the side, letting him know I'm staying right here. He's still gaining a little bit of ground. I believe Red is still just a little bit in front of him. Red not quite able to go to the outside like he wanted to. He did have to stick to the inside, but that also didn't let Alachamps be able to turn in as early as he would have liked to get that massive run on the corner exit. So still, Alachamps gaining a little bit of ground, but still not quite able to get all the way up there to make the move. And Faster still. Now 4.7 seconds away from these two. 4.4 seconds. But yes, Faster is definitely closing the gap very quickly. He's got 14 minutes left. And I think he has, again, a very, very good shot at catching up to Red in first and Alachamps in second and getting himself involved in that battle. Our leaders actually have a back marker in front of them. It'll take them several more laps, I think, before they can catch him. But they do have a back marker up in front of them, so sooner or later they will have to deal with a little bit of traffic. He is, Duke. Faster is, he is really hunting them down. He's closing that gap pretty quick. Well, now it's gone back up just a little bit now, but he had it really close. He still has a really great shot at catching me. You can see right there just how close he actually is to these two. I definitely believe before this race is over, we're going to see a three-way battle for first, second, and third. If not a sure enough full-on side-by-side battle, I believe these three will definitely be lined up right behind each other, just like Red and Alachamps are right now. But yeah, there we go. Faster now back down to a 4-second gap. Really closing it in. I have to say, a little bit on farther down the field there, Flip is still trying to close in on ESR Chef. Only about a 2.5 second gap between these two. But these two looking very, very good. And still, I have no idea of who I want to try to vote for driver of the day, and I really need to start figuring that out because we are down to the last 12 minutes of the race. Oh, Snaker's in the pit again. He may not have had quite enough fuel. I know the rain coming back in as early as it did was something that most of the drivers definitely did not expect. I think they all expected it to come back in about now, right here at the very end of the race. I really don't think any of them expected it to start raining as early as it did. So they had their whole pit stop strategies. Wow, something so simple, very hard to say. I think they had them all lined up and set so that, because, you know, in the way that they were thinking it was going to start raining in the last few minutes of the race and not as early, which definitely put a lot of the drivers way off on their pit stop strategy. Oh, we got to get right here. Alachamp's now 2 to 4 tenths from Red. We could definitely see him go for the move any time now. Alachamp's almost had himself down the inside, not quite able to get in there though. That was some really good defensive driving from Red. Oh, again, very nice defensive driving from Red right there. You could tell Red anticipated Alachamp's trying to go around him on the outside, so instead of cutting it to the inside like he had been doing, he swung on out to the outside, caught Alachamp's completely off guard. Alachamp's had to hit his brakes. Same there. Red has been taking that on the outside. He's been taking that turn on the outside, so Alachamp's had no reason to think that Red was going to stick to the inside like he was. And Alachamp's was in a great position to be able to get him on the corner exit. But Red he picked the right line. Had Alachamp's convinced he was going to go for take it around the outside like he's been doing, and it just shut Alachamp's off. He was not able to get that move done. Like I said earlier, these two drivers have really spent a lot of time in this race kind of poking and prodding each other, trying to figure out which one is weak, where they're going to go, when. And what we're seeing now is a great play out of how much information each driver knows about the other one and where they could potentially go on track to get around them. And I have to say, if y'all haven't noticed, Faster is now 1.7 seconds off of first and second. So he is right there. He is almost all but completely involved in this battle. 1.2 seconds off. This is going to be really interesting. We're going to have a fight for first, second, and third for the last 8 minutes of this race. Like I keep saying, man, these drivers always make a great end at the race because of the way their pit stop strategies vary and everything. I don't think I've had a race yet covering for the Ferrari 33 SP that has not ended in a very similar way. We've always got some great battles right here at the end. We can see right down there, ESR Chef and Flip Flip still only 2 seconds separating those two. So we have oh, Alachamp's has managed to get in front of Red finally. Oh, nope. For a second I thought Red was fixing to immediately take that position back. We know Alachamp's has got a huge smile on his face right now, but he's got to be sweating bullets because he has Red all over him. It took Alachamp's a very long time to be able to make that move and get him lined up just right. But if Red is not careful, he has Faster right there, 1.3 seconds off of him. So if Red concentrates on Alachamp's too much, he's gonna find himself needing to fend off Faster. Faster's now still at just over the 1 second mark, so he can kind of keep him fended off with his right foot just by keeping the speed up. But it's going to be really easy for Faster to get right there on top of him and get himself involved in this. Oh yeah, I agree, Javier. Yeah, Red is good. Red is just looking for an opportunity to try to go for the move. And look, we did have a back marker getting out of the way for the leaders back there, showing great respect for everybody. And from what I could see when they came around the turn, it looked like Faster was trying to tuck himself in behind the back marker for just a second, get a little bit of extra speed out of his arrow, or slipstream. you know, use it to help catapult him on around and catch up there. Faster now, just barely out of this battle, but not by much. He's taken great advantage of the back marker's slipstream at the moment and using it to help him catch up. And there it is. He managed to use it to help catapult him right on around the back marker, and that should give him a little bit of an extra speed boost and help him close that gap back up to Red and Alochamps. Oh, and at the back, we've got to go check them out. We've got Agulator and Manic UK starting to go at it. See, I told y'all, I pre-set up the podium, and every time I do it, this is what I get. I get battles start popping up all over the freaking place within the last couple of minutes of the race. Alright, and Duke gave us basically a rundown of how Alochamps managed to get by Red. Alright, so basically we've seen them do the same move down into turn 1 pretty much every time. And Red always goes for the block around the inside, and then Alochamps kind of backs out a little bit on the outside, but apparently Alochamps put that right foot down and managed to get the car to stick and pulled it out. Pull off the pass in turn 1 around the outside. I am still keeping an eye on Red, Alochamps Red and Faster. They're still really close to each other. Since we've got just this little battle back here, figured I should show these drivers some attention since they do have a great battle going on at the moment. Manic is really trying to keep Agulator fended off right now. And of course, we do have Faster's camera on the bottom hand right, so we'll be able to tell there if he gets really close to Red again. So it looks like the gap has now increased. I think Faster was able to get up in the slipstream, but as soon as he lost that aero boost to being in their slipstream, it kind of set him back just a little bit. Yeah, I agree, y'all. Alochamps managed to get in front of Red and managed to get himself a very nice little lead there. And if y'all want to go ahead and vote for your driver of the day, I will get their graphics loaded on up. We are down to the last 3.5 minutes of the race. And I'm still not sure who I want to vote for. All these drivers have done a magnificent job. It's been really tough on them. 2-hour endurance race. Rain at the start, it cleared out and the rain came back in. Agulator with a fantastic pass right there around Manic. But to be honest, I'm really feeling, we got to go back up here to Faster, but I'm feeling Agulator or Manic for that battle, this last minute battle here at the end of the races, who I'm kind of really feeling for my vote. It's always hard to pick the driver of the day, Javier. Oh, Flip now catching is right there on top of ESR Chef. Got another little battle here popping up right here the last 2 minutes of this race. See, I told y'all I cursed it by setting up the podium so early. I do it every time. If I set the podium up early, I always get some really great battles right here at the end. We get some great change up. I'm learning to make this commentator's curse work for us. or attempting to anyway. Still, ID4 right there. Ooh, ID4 now catching up with Manic. ID4 also has had a really good race. Flip still trying to catch up with Chef, not quite close enough. Let's check in on these two. They're almost side by side. Manic does have himself set up quite nice. Flip still right there on top of ESR. Faster trying to make sorry y'all, trying to get himself in position to make the move on Red. 1 minute left. Yeah, y'all go ahead and let me know driver of the day, and I'll get that loaded up since we are down to the last minute. I'm going to try and keep bouncing us around between all of these battles and catch our leader coming across the line and finish the podium all at once. It's going to be quite tricky. ID4, Manic still going at it in the back of the field. ESR, Chef, and Flip going at it in the midfield. Faster and Red going at it for second and third. I believe they will get across the line. We will see one more lap out of these drivers. Yes, we should definitely see one more lap. And as I said, here it is. It's the end of the race, and the rain is moving back out. No more rain. We've got the blue skies starting to come back. Nice, beautiful sunshine. This has been a very tough race on everybody. Alright, and Javier is voting for Aloe Champs. Let me make sure of where Aloe Champs is on the map. Okay, we're still not in danger of him crossing the line. He's going to have to really push it, Javier. And it's such a tempting thing to do. You know fully well the consequences if they mess it up right here at the end. It could cost them so much, but if you don't try to make the move, you know, oh, like that. Ow. Ow. That hurt me. Maybe they're pushing a little too hard. I was just fixing to say, you know what could happen if they push too hard? It could cost them everything, but if you don't try to push, you end up hating yourself for not pushing. Alright, so we've got a split here between Aloe Champs and Agulator for driver of the day. And yet we've got Faster across the line. Red did a great job holding off on second. Faster managed to pull off third. And we're going to stick right here with these two drivers while I get the driver of the day rounded up. And I made a little bit of a compromise because this is a very, very long race. And that is our end. And we had Aloe Champs with a magnificent first right there at pulling it off. Red in second, Faster third, ESR Chef fourth, Flip fifth, Agulator sixth, ID4 seventh, Manic UK in eighth, Snaker in ninth, K-Morse in 10th. And that pretty much rounds out the field. And let's go ahead and get on over here to our podium. We had 2 of y'all vote. This was a 2-hour race. It was the endurance. I couldn't make a choice, so I had no choice but to name Agulator and Aloe Champs for driver of the day. That is, of course, who y'all voted for. And like I said, this race was so tough on everyone. We had some great last minute battles there. That was absolutely fantastic to watch. And of course, Champs with the win first. Very hard fought battle there at the end. Amazing pass, just barely getting by Red 15. Red 15 in second. He led the race the entire way, so we know just how hard he was pushing right there at the end, trying to keep Champs fended off. Great job by all the drivers. And Faster with the third, managing to catch up to first and second right there at the end with a big a gap as he had, was absolutely fantastic. It truly was. This was a great race to witness in these cars and from these drivers. And just real quick, because I have no idea how I missed my shameless advertisement throughout the race. It was a very long race. I had more than ample opportunity. Again, I think that just shows how mixed up I was right at the start, trying to get several things done. But yeah, shameless advertisement. Go to the website, gavraracing.altavista.org. Gavra has been steady updating the website with lots of new stuff on there. I'm actually going to head over there as soon as I'm done with this to see what he's added in this week, because literally every week he's updating it or adding something new. So check it out. It has track histories for not just the drivers who had the fastest laps for the tracks, but he actually has the history of the tracks on there. So no need to use, like all the other information services like Wikipedia and stuff like that. Gavra's got it right on the website. All the information and history on the tracks, past seasons and records of drivers, along with the standings and what leagues are currently running, and everything, and some sign-ups as well. And of course, there's a link below to the website, along with a link to the Discord channel and the Patreon if you wish to become a Patreon supporter. We are, of course, community driven. Gavra puts a lot into it. The administrators put a lot into it. The drivers do. You, the viewers, y'all also put a lot into it in tolerating me to broadcast this thing and having to listen to me. So y'all also put a lot into it. So anybody, if you want to help support us, please do. But definitely make sure you hit the like and subscribe. And anybody that always watches me knows that I don't know how to close a show. So yeah, Champs first, Red second, Faster in third, and we had Agulator and Champs driver of the day. I think the situation called for it. It was a really long race, extremely tough on everybody. And thank everyone so much for watching, and Javier and Duke Martin keeping me company in the chat. And I have been Jukebox 73, and huge thanks to everyone who watched, the drivers, the administrators, and of course Gavra Novick for all the organization and work he puts into it. So yeah, everyone, yeah, I can't close shows. I don't know how. So y'all have a good evening, and I'm gonna try to figure out what thoughts are in my brain. Good night.